1300 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan, the news read by Ali Ahmed. First, the headlines. Pakistan has lodged a strong protest with India over its recent ceasefire violations on line of control. Foreign Minister is in Niger to represent Pakistan at the OIC Council of Foreign Ministers meeting beginning tomorrow. 40 more people died of coronavirus in the country over the last 24 hours. In India, Modi government has taken on these deadliest drones in the world in a bid to establish its hegemony in the region. And now, the news in detail. Pakistan has lodged a strong protest with India over its recent ceasefire violations on the line of control, which resulted in martyrdom of an innocent civilian. The Indian Chargé d'Affaires was summoned to Ministry of Foreign Affairs today to register the protest, condemning the deplorable targeting of innocent civilians by the Indian occupation forces. It was underscored that such senseless acts are in clear violation of 2003 ceasefire understanding and are also against all established humanitarian norms and professional military conduct. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has arrived in Niger to represent Pakistan at the OIC Council of Foreign Ministers meeting beginning tomorrow. The Foreign Minister and President Azad Kashmir, Sardar Masood Khan, will address the meeting and apprise the participants about the grave human rights situation in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. German Ambassador Bernard Schlagik called on Naval Chief Amjad Khan Niazi in Islamabad today. They discussed maritime security situation and bilateral cooperation in maritime affairs. 40 more people died of coronavirus in the country over the last 24 hours. According to the latest statistics, 3,306 people were tested positive for COVID-19 during the last 24 hours after the tests of 45,999 people. The figure of patients recovered from the virus has now reached 396,198. There are now 43,963 active cases in the country. Pakistan has expressed the hope that meeting of SAARC planning ministers and meeting report adopted by all the member states with consensus will go a long way in devising a coordinated strategy towards achieving sustainable development goals in the region, especially in the post-COVID-19 environment. This was stated by Minister for Planning and Development Asad Umar while virtually addressing the inaugural meeting of SAARC planning ministers hosted by Pakistan. He said SAARC planning ministers and secretaries' virtual meetings are a reaffirmation of Pakistan's commitment to the SAARC process and its efforts to forge closer cooperation among the member states. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres will study the dossier that Pakistan gave him containing irrefutable evidence of Indian sponsorship of terrorism in Pakistan. Briefing the newsmen in New York, the deputy spokesman of the United Nations Secretary General Farhan Aziz Haq said, "We have received the document and we will study that." Earlier, the dossier prepared by the Pakistani government after full investigation of India's illegal and aggressive activities was handed over the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres by Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Munir Akram, the other day. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, 2 persons were critically injured after they were deliberately hit by a speedy Indian Army vehicle in Jammu city. According to a local police official, the injured were shifted to Government Medical College and Hospital, Jammu, for medical treatment. Meanwhile, 4 Kashmiri youth have been missing in New Delhi. In India, Modi government, continuing with its nefarious designs to create a regional hegemony, has taken on lease a pair of one of the deadliest drones in the world from a United States company. According to reports by Indian media, the agreement for 1 year lease for the Predator series drones has been signed directly with the company. The process for getting 30 such drones in 2 variants, one for use over land and the other over sea, is underway. China has expressed serious concern over India's recent claim to ban 43 more Chinese apps on national security grounds. In a statement, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian said these moves are a glaring violation of market principles and World Trade Organization rules. He urged India to immediately correct its discriminatory approach and avoid causing further damage to bilateral cooperation. The United Nations Assistance Mission in Iraq has urged the authorities to end gender-based violence as COVID-19 restriction measures increase the risk of violence against the vulnerable people. In a statement, the mission said that it has recorded a marked rise in the number of reported incidents of violence during this year. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk. And also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.